Welcome to the Teen Lawson channel. I'm Theresa.
I'm Mike.
And we're millennials and we're making it. On our channel, we discuss all things that may be within the intersection of millennial marriage and special needs parenting.
We want to create a community that's both inclusive and encouraging.
So go ahead and hit that subscription button and help us reach our goal to get into 1,000 subscribers.
Also, don't forget to smash that like button so you can let the algorithm know you think we're awesome.
So, today we're going to talk about parenting, specifically what we are intentionally trying to do differently than our parents did. There are obviously things that we have to do different than our parents because we have a child with special needs, who is also an only child. And those are things that can't be helped. But there are some things that we are intently doing differently. And I just want to take the time to say, sorry about the lighting. We lost 50% of our light, natural light, because it started raining. So, hope it's not so bad. Anyway.
Be all right.
So, what's one thing we're doing differently? I'm going to let you go first.
Is that my best?
What's one thing we're doing differently?
I'm so sick of you. We ain't beating our child.
Okay, so spanking. We're not doing that. We actually started out spanking. She was little, so it wasn't like, it was pats on the behind and legs, and she wore a diaper. So, still not something that we aspire to continue. And it's difficult because I am not of the school of, well, I turned out okay, because I didn't. I am particularly anxious, and I think beatings had something to do with that. What?
I turned out fine.
Yes,
I'm not anxious.
And you avoiding and repressing emotions is healthy behavior. You don't think that had anything to do with you getting spanked?
No.
Bless your heart. Counseling will help that. And that's not to say that our parents were bad people or parents, because that was all the tools. When you spank and yell at your children, that's the only tool in your tool set. You wouldn't do that if you had another option. And I think that was the option that they had. Having the time, as we have had, and the resources to discover different ways of parenting, having social media, to actually see people parenting differently, is a privilege, I think. So how do you feel about being on the no spanking train?
That's new to me.
It's new to both of us.
Huh?
It's new to both of us.
It's new to me because
I up until when I started coming to the decision to stop spanking a kid, I just knew that spankings were good. They were necessary.
I still think they are.
I don't think they are, though. I think they are absolutely unnecessary, and I think they are harmful to children, and I think they're harmful to relationships. I don't think you can have the best, as good as relationship we have with our parents. I think that relationship has suffered and will be forever damaged because the only parenting option or discipline option that they had was spanking. And that's saying, I think a lot of them as parents as well, because we have great relationships with our parents. I think it could be that much better if they understood how, and I think your mom does, a little bit more than my parents do. My dad thinks all children need to be spanked. And
I don't have that mindset. I think my mindset is different from his. Now, my mindset is, I think where the trauma come in, that because I mean it have been situations like that. They got some parents who go overboard with it.
Yeah, was there ever a situation when I can point to two specific instances in being spanked as a child that were abuse and were traumatic for me, and they are something that I deal with now, even in therapy. So, can you think of any situations in your childhood where your mom may have did like some parents have done and just gone overboard?
I was in fourth grade, but I
Don't
ain't,
get
I ain't gonna lie.
specific.
No, but I'm not gonna lie, man. I deserved it.
No, I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to stop that train of thought because there are some people who have had traumatic spanking experiences watching this and till this day feel like they deserve it. There's no human on the planet that deserves what you got. I don't care what you do.
No, I mean she didn't.
There is no human on the planet.
I get what
that
you're
deserves
saying.
what you
Let
got.
me
I
finish
don't
what
care
I'm
what you
saying.
did. Go ahead.
Dang, what I'm saying. I mean, she didn't like. It wasn't like no punches or nothing being thrown. Like
It doesn't matter what it was. You didn't deserve it. You didn't deserve it.
Okay, that's how you feel.
You did not
I
deserve
get what you're saying.
And I want you to think about that until
Theresa,
you believe
let me
it.
finish what I'm saying.
Fine, say what you're saying, but you still didn't deserve it.
Okay, I feel that. I feel like, I mean, I probably didn't deserve it in that manner, but I deserved to get my behind whooped that day because I was.
You didn't deserve it, and I'm going
Theresa,
to continue to
stop cutting me off. Let me finish.
You keep saying you deserve it, and you
Say that. Let me finish my statement,
okay,
and then you throw that in there. What I'm saying is, I was cutting up like on purpose. I was cutting up in class like terribly, and I drove the teacher to the point I can't take this no more. I'm finna call your mom. My mama had to leave her job and come get me out of school. So I'm saying okay, I see what you're saying. I probably didn't deserve it. Yeah. I got my behind told and I still trust mom to this day. That didn't break trust. That didn't break none of that. I feel like it helped me out in the long run. You know what I'm saying? I done had a good 34 years off getting my behind told.
Being a spouse in an emotional relationship with you, I can see where that has hindered you emotionally. And has made part of our relationship more difficult. Because in order to deal with being hit by someone you trusted, there are certain things that you have to emotionally do as a child to cope. And those coping mechanisms you carry into future emotional relationships. And I have to deal with those. And you're not going to tell me that it didn't affect you because I can list off the ways that it has affected you. We have been going back and forth about this for how long?
I don't know. Okay.
I can't see that.
23 minutes.
Okay, so let's go to the other ways.
Okay.
So another way that I am trying to parent differently, or we are trying to parent them, Michael didn't struggle with this as much because he's not a yeller. Yelling and screaming at your child. Macy makes me want to holler sometimes. And I know, one, it's not fair for her because she has issues with sensory processing. And it is hurtful for her, and not just emotionally, but physically. So for her, yelling is jarring and even triggering. Why do I yell? Just absolute frustration and exasperation. Most of the time I'm yelling, Macy has grated my nerves down to a nub. She is usually engaged in a compulsive behavior. And it is like you cannot reason with her. Fussing, just general fussing doesn't do it. In those moments, I need to try my best to help her co-regulate so that she can step out of the compulsive behavior. But my nerves are bad. It's usually at the end of the day, too. And so I have less to give, less mom juice in the tank. And that is what I learned and was taught to do. And it's funny because you grate my nerves like that too, but I don't yell at you. So I know that I can do it. And it's another one of those things where but it's the kid. Kids are humans too. And if I wouldn't yell at my husband, I shouldn't yell at my child. So, yeah. What else are we trying to do differently than our parents? Do we need to take a moment so you can take a breath?
No, I'm good. I don't.
I think there are a couple more things. I think we are trying to be more intentional. What word did I just say?
Intentional.
Thank you. We are trying to be more intentional about like the code of ethics and responsibility that we teach our child. I think our parents taught us a code of ethics, but like I can't sit down and say the Douglas family motto is Douglas do this. I think for our child specifically, but I think just in general as parenting tools, I think it would be helpful for us to like come up with something that Macy can actually fall back on to choose through behaviors or make choices in the future. Why are you frowning? So I think we are intentionally trying to create a creed and a motto for our family to teach to Macy so that she has something to fall back on in her decision making process. It sounds very like Family of Matters ish, Winslow's ish. But I think we are very intentional about all the goals for our life, but sometimes we expect like our family to develop without being intentional about goals. I think we've been more intentional about that. I'm not saying that our parents didn't teach us how to be, but like it was more generalized and I think more fear-based.
I think more of a freedom for my child about certain issues, like not being, I guess, afraid to discuss stuff because like you couldn't.
Funny you should say afraid to discuss.
No, I'm talking about certain subjects.
Wonder why that might be.
We're gonna keep it PG because a lot of, I mean, no, I'm just no, I'm not trying to be what. Why you laughing? I'm being for real. Like that's
nothing. You'll catch it later.
No, I'm saying like, cause our parents wasn't like comfortable discussing. I'm gonna just say it. This, comfortable discussing like sex and stuff with us. You know what I'm saying?
And I think a lot of that is because they were taught sex through a very biblical lens, and so if you're teaching sex through a very biblical lens, it's very easy. Don't have sex till you get married. And what else is there to talk about outside of that? Loads. All the changes that are happening in your body and masturbation and pleasure, because the purpose of sex is partially for pleasure. Did anybody ever talk to you in any part of sex ed about how pleasurable sex was?
Sex ed, I don't know. Took that like.
No, I'm saying, but I'm not. I don't mean the class. I mean, like in your education of sex and all the people who ever talk to you about sex and.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here in front.
Did they ever talk to you about how to give a woman pleasure?
Yeah.
I find that so hard to believe. In what context? I think the conversation that is not had about pleasure is that pleasure, like the purpose of sex is to have mutual pleasure and procreation if you want to have kids, but to have mutual pleasure, and also that looks different from person to person, from time to time, and it's going to take a lot of communication to get there. I think that is a conversation that is never had.
I was taught the basics.
Right.
Now,
I was.
And that's just like school. Somebody can teach you basic math, you know what I'm saying? But eventually, person's going to teach you advanced. So you're going to go above it. So, yeah, I know the basics, but now coming with you is the advanced stuff. So now I got to learn, okay, yeah, I was taught this. But, okay, she might not like this. She might like this.
Question, did you know, like, simple stuff about pleasure, like clitoris is for pleasure, and that's it. Did you know that?
Yes.
Huh. Wasn't even taught that.
I
actually taught myself.
I told you I was taught.
Not like that. I read it in the book. Not like that. I read it in the book.
No, I was taught this stuff raw and uncut.
I was not.
Not in us.
You were actually taught about a clitoris?
Yeah.
Huh. Amazing. I have one and wasn't taught about one. Amazing. But like simple stuff like that, like us having that conversation, we're going to have this conversation with Macy. And so like, I think that is true. The way that we approach certain sticky subjects, I think in a very practical way, because our child is autistic, we can't be vague. Like we have to be very specific just to protect her.
No, I think though, now I can tell her some stuff, but I think that's gonna be like a you and her thing.
I think it has to be both of us.
No, I'm not saying I'm not gonna do it. I'm saying that it's gonna be both of us, but I think it's gonna be more so you than me.
I think it will be different for me than you, but I think we're going to have a more equal part in the conversation than maybe our parents did, because my dad wasn't uncomfortable with girl body stuff, but I was really uncomfortable going to him. And that wasn't, I don't think, his fault. It was just the way that the conversation was had. Every time I had sex ed, they made sure at school, or in fifth grade, is it sex ed? It's more like puberty ed in fifth grade. But like, they made sure that the class was taught by a woman to girls and by a man to boys. So I literally thought you didn't talk to men about that. I remember after the Chris Brown, one of my classmates, his mom, I think she might have been a nurse or something, and so I can't remember what his mama did, but whatever she did, like, he was very open and comfortable talking about it. And like, after the class, the girls were talking to the girls and the boys were talking to the boys since the fifth grade. He was like, "Man, I know all about that stuff," and he started talking. I'm like, boys know these things? So funny. I remember that. That was a core memory for me, and like, it being so opposite of the norm.
Man, that stupid.
Stop. Anyway, is there anything else? Anything else you're gonna?
Nah, hold on. You gotta let me discuss my side now.
Oh, okay.
No, don't worry about it. Come on. What you was asking?
Is there anything else that we plan on doing differently than our parents?
Not that I think of right now.
I think we are making it a point to have fun with Macy. I'm not saying that our parents didn't have fun with us. Well,
my mom made it a point.
Yeah. I think my parents were more tired and did less. Maybe not more tired, but like, because they were tired, they didn't make it. We went on some family vacations, but like, just doing little things throughout every day to make sure we were relationship building every day. Not so much. It wasn't, or at the very least, it wasn't intentional. I'll say that.
I'm trying to do that now, because we didn't take a lot. No, I'm talking about like family vacations
and stuff. Yeah. Because I think a lot of it has to do with like access, like you just trying to pay bills and stuff.
Yeah.
I think part of our bills for us is making sure that we can go on vacation. We have kind of built that into our lifestyle.
I would like to go on a vacation with her one day.
Your mama?
Yeah.
I want us to all take one big family vacation. I would like, the easiest thing is Disney World, but I don't really want to go to Disney World.
I don't either.
Yeah, I think the kids would like it. I don't want to go. What else?
That's about it for me. I ain't got nothing too much more. Like, I think I said what I felt.
Yeah. And just kind of a reiteration, we have amazing parents. They did excellent jobs in raising us. I think Mike's mom is amazing. His dad is wonderful. Do you think the same thing about my parents? Say it out loud.
Yeah. I love your parents.
Yes, and we think that they did an amazing job. But we recognize that there is a generational difference in how we approach parenting. Just because my parents did a good job does not mean that I am not in counseling talking about some of the things that they did and how they hurt me. Just facts.
I feel fine. That's just me.
You also feel like you don't need counseling, but whatever.
I mean, I guess
All right. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below. If you have children, what are you doing differently? If you don't have children, what do you wish your parents did differently? What do you plan on doing differently? We'll see you in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video.
God bless you.